The road to becoming a vet. What was that road like for you?
Well, that's a long road, but so I've always wanted to be a vet, and the question is, did I ever want to be a equine vet? And that wasn't in my plans. And it was when I started getting experience and in veterinary school, and actually before, because they didn't let me into vet school the first year. And so they said, you need more large animal experience. So in the process of getting that, I kind of fell in love with the horses. Next thing I know, I have a job with horses, and next thing I know, 35 years go by. And it's a cool job. It's difficult at times. But for me, being a veterinarian and a sports medicine person, it combines a lot of things that really I enjoy. So, but it was weird. I was going to be a small animal vet when I was a kid, and I think everybody knows that when you get around these guys, something happens, and that's what happened to me.
You kind of work closely with backside workers, so to say, the caretakers, right? Can you talk about?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they're my best source of information. I'm fluent in Spanish, and a lot of the grooms are Spanish descent, and I learned a lot from them. Not only things that they might not tell the trainer sometimes, but you build a rapport with them, and they're invaluable, and I can't tell you how much they mean to our practice and to as veterinarians. Mostly the grooms, but even the hot walkers, the assistants. But those grooms are invaluable. They know their horses better than the trainers do, because they just can't get to every horse. So it's been a great association for 35 years.
And what's some of your greatest memories doing this job?
I've been real lucky. I've been around a lot of nice horses, and Barbaro, Street Sense, Animal Kingdom, traveling overseas to do some procedures on some horses. Been to France, England, Paris twice, even went to Jamaica once. But it's not one memory, it's like that whole list of animals that really helped you. And I've been really lucky to be around these horses. I always feel like I was the same veterinarian when I wasn't around them, but the honor of letting us work on them is really what raises all our careers.
Who's the person that you came across, right, that worked on the backside that you felt like was just exceptional with a horse?
That's a great question. I learned a little bit from everybody, especially a guy that wasn't raised around horses. But I had mentors in veterinary medicine that had been doing it for 30 years when I came in. In our practice is Teglin, Franklin, and Broken, and those guys, especially Dr. Franklin, for me, was a true horseman and a veterinarian. And the things he could do without talking too much, it was amazing. And so individually, as I went to every trainer when I started my career, I learned how to do it different ways. And I think that's the most important thing, that there isn't just one correct way. I think in veterinary school you learn a lot of books, you learn a lot of things, but when you're around a horse, there's more than one way. And I learned to read a horse, which is just entering his stall, so not to get hurt. So that was really important.
What do you think about this program, The Real Players?
I love it. I see it when it comes up on my social media. I make time, and I know a lot of the people on it, and always want to hear their stories. I always learn, even from people that I've known all my life. I always learn from those interviews.
And one last thing, right? A lot of people say back in the days, the grooms and the horsemen took care of the horse. There wasn't no vet in the barn back then.
It was a different relationship,
yeah,
for sure. The vets were called on, pretty much horse had to be pretty lame, but there was a lot of self-care and self-healing that went on. You know, when I entered racing, it was the early 90s, and by that time, you know, we were pretty involved. But I love veterinary history, and I love talking to old guys that I remember Bob Wessler. He was like 80 when I started working, and the things he showed me, he would open up this big bin and had cutouts and from newspapers and old liniments and old medications, and I was just intrigued by it all. So that's when I learned pretty early on that there's more than one way to do this.
Where are you from originally?
I was born in Caracas, Venezuela.
A lot of great horsemen come out of Venezuela.
Yeah. You know, Cañonero II was that horse, was the first horse that I ever went to a racetrack with. I think I was 10 or 11 years old, 12 years old. And seeing him at Belmont and seeing the stands full of Venezuelan flags, it was impressive for me. I had no idea. I knew I wanted to be a vet then. No idea that I'd be working with Belmont winners later in my career.
This year, Javier had an amazing year. Talk about
Javier.
that.
I've known Javier for a long time. He's always been kind, great person. He'll take a moment and just greet you, and I feel pretty close to Javier, and I'm really proud of what he's done, especially not only later in his career, but when he had a shorter, kind of a soft spell in his career, and then he's kind of reinvented himself.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.